Hi there. We're on Through the Bible. We are on day 239, and today we are beginning the book of Ezekiel. And Ezekiel's very large, like 48 chapters. So, and a little background Ezekiel, you remember, we're following through history as the events happen. And Jerusalem has now been destroyed. The Babylonians have taken over and destroyed everything, and they've taken about 10,000 of them into exile up in Babylon. They lived all around Babylon. Ezekiel lived in one of these villages as one of the exiles, and he was in about 100 miles south of Babylon in a little river town called Tel Abib. And he spends the first 32 chapters talking about their, you know, messages communicate to judgment for sins committed. Okay, and then 33 through 48, he talks about the hope for the future, which might be interesting to us because some of this stuff still hasn't happened yet, right? So we'll get into that. I say we're going to be in this for quite a while, but and the first 32 chapters does talk about sin and punishment. For the people that are now exiled in Babylon, they have no land, they have no home, and they're basically in forced labor. So, let's jump over there, and we'll get into it. Okay. Ezekiel 1. In the 30th year, in the 4th month, of the 5th day of the month, while I was among the exiles by the Chebar Canal, that's where Tel Aviv was, the heavens opened, and I saw visions of God. On the 5th day of the month, it was the 5th year of the king Jehoiakim's exile. The word of the Lord came directly to Ezekiel, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the Chebar Canal, and the Lord's hand was on him there. So even in exile, they still had prophets and people that God spoke to. Okay, he did not abandon them completely. Vision of the Lord's glory. I looked, and there was a whirlwind coming from the north, a great cloud with fire flashing back and forth and brilliant light all around it. In the center of the fire there was a gleam like amber. The form of 4 living creatures came from it, and this was their appearance. They had human form, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Wow. Their legs were straight, and the soles of their feet were like the hoofs of a calf, sparkling like a gleam of polished bronze. They had human hands under their wings. On their 4 sides, all 4 of them had faces and wings. Their wings were touching. The creatures did not turn as they moved. Each one went straight ahead. The form of each of their faces was that of a man, and each of the 4 had the face of a lion on the right, and the face of an ox on the left, and the face of an eagle. How strange would that be? This is what their faces were like. The wings were spread upward. Each had 2 wings touching that of another, and 2 wings covering its body. Each creature went straight ahead. Wherever the spirit wanted to go, they went without turning as they moved. Sounds kind of like a revelation, huh? The form of the living creatures was like the appearance of burning coals of fire and torches. Fire was moving back and forth between the living creatures. It was bright with lightning coming out of it. The creatures were darting back and forth like flashes of lightning. When I looked at the living creatures, there was 1 wheel on the ground beside each creature that had 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their craftsmanship was like the gleam of beryl, and all 4 had the same form. Their appearance and craftsmanship was like a wheel within a wheel. When they moved, they went in any of the 4 directions without pivoting as they moved. Their rims were large and frightening. Each of the 4 rims were full of eyes all around. I can't even picture this, right? So when the living creatures moved, the wheels moved beside them, and then the creatures rose from the earth. The wheels also rose. Wherever the spirit wanted to go, the creatures went in the direction the spirit was moving. The wheels rose alongside them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Wow. When the creatures moved, the wheels moved. When the creatures stood still, the wheels stood still. And when the creatures rose from the earth, the wheels rose alongside them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. How interesting. I can't even get a picture of that in my head, okay? It kind of makes your brain do weird things. The shape of an expanse, with a gleam like an awe-inspiring crystal, was spread out over the heads of the living creatures, and under the expanse their wings extended one toward another. Each of them also had two wings covering their bodies. When they moved, I heard the sound of their wings like the roar of mighty waters, like the voice of the Almighty, and the sound of commotion like the noise of an army. When they stood still, they lowered their wings. A voice came from above the expanse over their heads. When they stood still, they lowered their wings. The shape of a throne with the appearance of a sapphire stone was above the expanse. There was a form with the appearance of a human on the throne high above, from what seemed to be his waist up. I saw a gleam like amber with what looked like fire enclosing it all around, from what seemed to be his waist down. I also saw what looked like fire. There was a brilliant light all around, and the appearance of the brilliant light all around was like that of a rainbow in a cloud on a rainy day. This was the appearance of the form of the Lord's glory. When I saw it, I fell face down and heard a voice speaking. He said to me, Son of man, stand up on your feet, and I will speak to you. As he spoke to me, the Spirit entered me and set me on my feet, and I listened to the one who was speaking to me. Capital C, capital O1, God. He said to me, Son of man, I am sending you to the Israelites, to the rebellious pagans who have rebelled against me. The Israelites and their ancestors have transgressed against me to this day. The children are obstinate and hard-hearted. I am sending you to them, and you must say to them, this is what the Lord God says. Whether they listen or refuse to listen, for they are a rebellious house, they will know that a prophet has been among them. All right. But you, son of man, do not be afraid of them or their words. Though briars and thorns are beside you and you live among scorpions, don't be afraid of their words or be discouraged by the look on their faces, for they are a rebellious house. But speak my words to them, whether they listen or refuse to listen, for they are rebellious. No. And you, son of man, listen to what I tell you. Do not be rebellious like that rebellious house. Open your mouth and eat what I am giving you. So I looked and saw a hand reaching out to me, and there was a written scroll on it. He unrolled it before me. It was written on the front and back of the words of lamentation, mourning, and woe were written on it. He said to me, Son of man, eat what you find here. Eat this scroll, then go back and speak to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he fed me the scroll. Son of man, he said to me, eat and fill your stomach with the scroll I am giving you. So I ate it, and it was sweet as honey in my mouth. And he said to me, Son of man, go to the house of Israel and speak my words to them, for you are not being sent to a people of unintelligible speech or difficult language, but to the house of Israel. You are not being sent to many peoples of unintelligible speech or difficult language whose words you cannot understand. No doubt if I sent you to them, they would listen to you. But the house of Israel will not want to listen to you because they do not want to listen to me. For the whole house of Israel is hard-headed and hard-hearted. Hard-headed and hard-hearted, I love that. Look, I have made your face as hard as their faces, and your forehead as hard as their foreheads. I have made your forehead like a diamond harder than flint. Don't be afraid of them and discouraged by the look on their faces, even though they are a rebellious house. Next he said to me, Son of man, listen carefully to all my words that I speak to you, and take them to heart. Go to your people, the exiles, and speak to them. Tell them this is what the Lord God says, whether they listen or refuse to listen. The Spirit then lifted me up, and I heard a great rumbling sound behind me. Praise the glory of the Lord in his place. But the sound of the living creatures' wings brushing against each other, and the sound of the wheels beside them, a great rumbling sound. So the Spirit lifted me up and took me away. I left in bitterness and an angry spirit, and the Lord's hand was on me powerfully. I came to the exiles in Tel Aviv, who were living by the Chebar Canal, and I sat there among them, stunned for 7 days. Yeah, I bet. That would affect you, right? Ezekiel as a watchman. Now, at the end of 7 days, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, I have made you a watchman over the house of Israel. When you hear a word from my mouth, give them a warning from me. If I say to the wicked person, you will surely die, but you do not warn them, you do not speak out to warn him about this wicked way in order to save his life. The wicked person will die for his iniquity, yet I will hold you responsible for his blood. Wow. But if you warn a wicked person and he does not turn from his wickedness or his wicked way, he will die for his iniquity, but you will have saved your life. Now, if a righteous person turns from his righteousness and practices iniquity, I will put a stumbling block in front of him. He will die. If you did not harm him, he will die because of his sin and the righteous acts he did will not be remembered. Yet I will hold you responsible for his blood. But if you warn the righteous person that he should not sin, and he does not sin, he will indeed live because he listened to your warning, and you will have saved your life. That's a lot of responsibility, huh? Yeah. Then the hand of the Lord was on me there, and he said to me, get up, go out to the plain, and I will speak to you there. So I got up and went out to the plain. The Lord's glory was present there, like the glory I had seen by the Chebar Canal, and I fell face down. The Spirit entered me and set me on my feet. He spoke with me and said, go, shut yourself inside your house, and you, son of man, they will put ropes on you and bind you with them, so you cannot go out among them. I will make your tongue stick to the roof of your mouth, and you will be mute and unable to rebuke them, for they are a rebellious house. Man. But when I speak with you, I will open your mouth, and you will say to them, this is what the Lord God says. Let the one who listens, listens, and let the one who refuses, refuse, for they are a rebellious house. Mm-hmm. Okay, chapter 4. Jerusalem's siege dramatized. Now you, son of man, take a brick and set it in front of you and draw the city of Jerusalem on it. Then lay siege against it, construct a siege wall, build a ramp, pitch military camps, and place battering rams against it on all sides. Take an iron plate and set it up as an iron wall between yourself and the city. Turn your face toward it so that it is under siege. Besiege it. This will be a sign for the house of Israel. Then lie down on your left side and place the iniquity of the house of Israel on it. You will bear the iniquity for the number of days you lie on your side, for I have assigned you the years of their iniquity according to the number of days you lie down, 390 days, so you will bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. When you have completed these days, lie down again, but on your right side, and bear the iniquity of the house of Judah. I have assigned you 40 days, a day for each year. You must turn your face towards the siege of Jerusalem, with your arm bared, and prophesy against it. Be aware that I will put cords on you, so you cannot turn from side to side until you have finished these days of your siege. Wow. Also take wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt. Put them in a single container and make them into a bread for yourself. You are to eat it during the number of days you lie on your side, 390 days. Imagine sitting someplace for 390 days. That's like 14 months, right? Oh, well, 13 months. Well, it would have been 14 months there because they had a different calendar. The food you ate each day will be 8 ounces by weight, and you will eat it from time to time. You are also to drink water by measure, 1/6 of a gallon, which you will drink from time to time. You will eat it as you would a barley cake, and bake it over dried human excrement in their sight. Ew. The Lord said, this is how the Israelites will eat their bread, ceremonially unclean among the nations where I will banish them. But I said, O Lord God, I have never been defiled from my mouth, and from my youth until now I have not eaten anything that died naturally or was mauled by wild beasts, and impure meat has never entered my mouth. He replied to me, look, I will let you use cow dung instead of human excrement. Well, thank you. And you can make your bread over that. Then he said to me, Son of man, I am going to cut off the supply of bread in Jerusalem. They will anxiously eat bread rationed by weight, and drink water by measure. So they will lack bread, water. Everyone will be devastated and waste away because of their iniquity. Wow. So we've begun Ezekiel. Crazy. Tomorrow, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's just going to keep going. Okay. We found out that for 32 chapters, they're talking all about their sin and stuff. Very interesting, huh? Very interesting. I must admit, I have never studied Ezekiel in depth, or, probably never read it from beginning to end, like we will. And they may or may not break it up to catch up with history, okay, because they're trying to follow a historical path as things happen, in this particular, through the Bible in a year. But we will get it all read. So catch up on any you may have missed. You want to say you got the whole Bible in a year. And give us a like if you think about it. Tomorrow we'll continue. See you then.